greenhouse time. As you can see, it's the ever-evolving jungle. I need to get in and do a little bit of trimming. This is like right in the middle of the doorway. But got lots of tomatoes going on. Hopefully they'll start turning color pretty soon. So as a reminder, these are the Juliet grapes up front. Had to slide these out from in between the plants. I've got to do something with these this weekend. But as you can see, anything sitting on the bottom on the bench where they were is getting no sunlight, or very little. Done a couple of bug checks the last couple days so far. No more aphids, so that's a wonderful thing. The cherry tomatoes, look at this one, that branch is falling down. It's all the way over 2 more buckets, so that's got to get trimmed out. Then everything at the top, I've gone back and forth. I've trimmed them before. I've let them sit at the top and they get a little crispy crittered and burned, and then they just kind of stop growing, or they bend and they just kind of grow down the side. It's a toss-up. It's about the same level of effort, but if you look at growth, it's been, I don't know, we'll say 2 weeks since I clipped. So, I get, I want to say almost a foot a week right now. Same thing with these cherry tomatoes. There's the last clip, so it would have been at least this tall. We'll say 1.5 feet a week. I mean, top of the greenhouse, about 6'5", 6'6". So my head just barely clears this purlin thing here. So, and then these dip a little bit. So, about 6'5", 6'6". Enough where I don't have to duck, but And then the other problem child is this cherry tomato, where, I mean, these are just 3 plants, right? So some of it's got to get trimmed out. These are indeterminate, so they'll just keep growing and growing and growing. But it's overtaking some of the space for that lunchbox pepper. I mean, it's just gonna keep going unless I tell it to stop. So I got to trim it back a little bit. The other lunchbox hasn't caught up, but you can actually see. Let's see if I can zoom in and make it focus. Come on, focus. Autofocus is lovely, especially when you're on a phone. Anyways, so there are some peppers growing back there. Not the best shot. And there are peppers growing in here, which I didn't know, which is awesome. Then the serrano, we've got some buds going on, and I haven't gotten in and strung this up at all. So there's just one string which is kind of hanging out down there. It's not doing much, so I gotta do a little work on that before it starts to fall over and break. And then the bobcat jungle, let me zoom out. I mean, again, these aren't getting any taller. I mean, these got a little bit taller, another 6 inches, but they're not going to get any taller. They're a nice, short, fat, stocky plant, which is wonderful, because I do need to get a few more supports in here, because these are going to be big tomatoes. That one's already a small to medium sized tomato, but they get much larger. Like I said, about 3 inches in diameter. But lots of blossoms. There's been lots of wind going on, so I haven't been in and pollinating. And let's see, it was this one that had the water issue the other day that I fixed, and I caught it before it went too dry. But I mean, there's tomatoes everywhere, so part of me wants to just let a couple of them hang and see how they do, and then part of me is like, well, if it falls over because of the weight, it's going to break, and then not only do you lose part of the plant, but you lose all the stuff that you were working to grow. So other than that, I'll do a little cleanup and add that on to the end And that's about it for the greenhouse, but you know, we'll do an update, tag this on, and so yeah. All right, I'm gonna do a follow-up. Smush this on the end of the video, so give the plants a pretty good haircut. Did a lot of thinning out here at the bottom, so a lot more airy. One, so I can see the drip tubes, get in, service them or whatever, see what's going on. 2, gives the plant some aeration, and 3, even though you know, because these are all indeterminate, so they're just going to keep growing and growing and growing. So kind of scale back a little bit of the foliage and try to get some more food growing, right? That's why we grow vegetables. Anyways, you can see a boatload more tomatoes now that all the leaves are kind of cleared up there. So that plant's doing pretty well. Took a bunch of the stuff out that was behind it. And this one's kind of all over the place, but still, just did some trimming. A little bit of haircut on the bottom of the pepper plants as they get a little bigger, and did some trimming of the cherry tomatoes, which is kind of funny. So this first one is one that I had done from seed. It wasn't doing real well, and then it decided to you know, as you can see, it's doing fine. This, which I thought was a cherry tomato from seed, because I thought they were together, but apparently I got them goofed up. This one doesn't appear to be a cherry tomato. It looks like it's a Juliet grape tomato, just by the shape of the tomatoes, right? So so that's fine. And then this was a cherry tomato that I bought from Home Depot or Green Acres. Looks like I missed a few on trimming here between the buckets, so that'll I'll catch that up another day. And then I did a bunch of trimming here on the side, as I talked about. And I've got to get in here and string up this pepper plant. Now it's leaning, probably because I was in there playing around with stuff. But as you do a little bit of trimming, you can see there's a boatload of peppers hanging out in here. And same thing with the lunchbox. So other than that, that's the name of the game, is do some more stringing up so they don't fall over and break. And then I basically did nothing with these short stocky ones. I need to get in and put a couple more supports, but just didn't get around to it. So nothing changed on this side of the box. Need to probably get around to throwing a couple of these tomato plants in the dirt outside. I was waiting to see the pepper seeds that are germinating inside, because I have room for 2 more buckets. So one is slated for the Cascabellas. If they germinate, the seeds are terrible. And I have a peppercini and a banana pepper. So we'll see which of the 3 win out. 1 bucket each inside here. And then whatever's left over is going to go in, because I have 2 totes, self-wicking tubs that could be planted in. And then this is the bay leaf. It's doing pretty good. I had a little too much water in it. They're supposed to remain more dry, so I dumped all the water out and just need to water it slowly. And then same with these other ones. So right now only the big one and this one have actually sprouted some leaves. These all had the nubs on there, but that's how they came. So right now they're doing nothing, and they were a little too wet, so I also drained all the water out of those. So we'll see what happens. Other than that, that's it for this week, or this episode, because we're doing 2 a week now.